Here we are again for Triggered Tuesdays for February 11th, 2020. I think this is episode 14, and I should make a habit of remembering that before we start
Or,
recording.
or
But
just putting it on the video.
that's true. I am triggered. But I'll just jump right into the topics here. We got some good ones today. The first thing is gaming YouTubers focusing on drama and not gaming. I feel this is becoming the standard, and there's a few YouTubers I would say that focus on it. I'm going to say 90% of their videos, the topic is just the drama between the community and themselves. And
Or another YouTuber.
exactly. Dave, what are your thoughts on this, and what have you seen? And do you even care? Are you starting to lose interest?
Yeah, really don't give a shit about drama. And honestly, some of the stuff is obviously kind of unavoidable when some of the bigger names are in there, and you kind of run a convention and you have to actually kind of be thinking about guests and that sort of thing. So from a certain perspective, I have to kind of pay attention to some of this.
Yeah.
But I don't really I don't watch the videos and follow it closely, just because it's I got too much other shit to worry about in my life. You know what I'm saying? So I don't really, I don't really have much of a perspective, because all I know is that people are attacking John Hancock, who by everything that I can tell is a really fucking good guy. Yeah, but people are attacking him, I guess, because people are sending him free shit or something like that. Or I don't know if there's a Patreon involved. That's the thing, is I don't know all the details.
Now,
So
explain Patreon. What does that mean exactly?
Patreon's like a website that people can essentially,
for the viewers that don't know,
it's I don't want to say it's like a subscription, because people, like a content creator will go on Patreon, and somebody can become a patron of that person and contribute a monthly fee. They can have a $1 tier, a $2 tier, a $5 tier, all the way up to thousands of dollars, I'm sure.
Right.
But yeah, that's essentially it. It's just sort of like a modified Kickstarter, I guess. It's sort of like a structure of a Kickstarter, but
like a support, financial support.
Yeah, exactly. So
yeah,
so I guess I don't know if he's taking money through Patreon for this museum, or if it's just donation games that people are sending him for free. But
I think it was both. I think that's
I know for a while
attacked.
he was doing subscriptions, and I don't know the details in the subscriptions, but he was doing a Q&A live for $5, and I'm just talking out loud, so people can correct me if I'm wrong. But my general idea of it was, you pay $5 Q&A with John Hancock for an hour or something to that effect.
Yeah, I think what they do is you'll spend $5 a month, and you'll have open access to maybe a chat like this. He'll go on, and everybody who has the access can hop on, whether it's Discord or something like that, and just talk to them or something. It's basically saying I'm a YouTuber, and people just message these guys all the time. You have to realize, and just want to talk to them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's basically prioritizing those kind of fans that just want to literally have a conversation like this, but with them.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, just to go extend it a little bit, not just John Hancock, but also you see issues with the RG. I mean, Boogie 2988 was having some issues with people, I guess want to say bullying or, something to that effect. I know he had some personal issues. And even extending it to John Hancock, he was saying, he made a video recently where he just said he made a lot of mistakes. I don't know these people personally, but I can tell you, I agree. I'm kind of where Dave's at. I've spoken to John a few times. Seemed like a nice guy. Are people just butt hurt that they're sending him, video games or
plus
systems?
I just don't know.
Or
just from life experience, people just have unrealistic expectations all the time, and I just don't know if people. I don't know if he's a great communicator, and if people are giving him money for this museum, do they understand it's going to take a long time to put a museum together. Yeah, and all that stuff. So I don't know if he's maybe he needs to give updates. But I don't even know it's a thing. I don't even know what's going on. So
Yeah, and I think that people basically gave him a backslash because I think some other YouTubers just posted like their opinions on him and basically like tore into him. And what he did where he fucked up is basically he filed a false copyright claim, which basically took down the video. So then that's why it spawned this whole like chain reaction of like these YouTubers making like videos on their opinions on the subject. And I'll be honest, the second like I see any YouTuber having to like say updates on my life, here's my apology video, or why did this YouTuber fuck up, I just smash that unsubscribe button like so fucking quick because I realize it's just trash that's gonna come into my feed and my algorithm.
Well,
Like,
yeah,
Yeah.
it's the same thing with Boogie. You know, like he was funny. I love the Francis videos. Thought those were pretty funny for a while. Talk again. We subscribe because we want to hear about gaming updates. You know, things that we enjoy. And then all of a sudden, he has a video talking about he's getting a divorce. And again, no offense, but I really don't care. I subscribe to your channel because it's about gaming or it's
mhm,
about collectibles or it's about whatever,
yep.
movies or, whatever it may be. And all of a sudden now I got to hear an hour thing about how you're getting divorced, who's getting what in the divorce. And, it's just not what I think and I think I probably could speak for most of the people that subscribe really want to hear,
Well, I think
So
like
they make them
people,
too
I
they
think
make it too personal, dude.
Right. Exactly.
what I think that's okay. I mean, like I don't think that there's a problem with that. Like, just don't watch that shit. That
Yeah.
that's
But,
my
but,
that's
it,
my
but if
thing.
you
Is
have a
like don't even
gaming,
click on it.
but I'm kind of with
But
Paul
as
on
long as,
this
but
one.
kind of separate it. You know what I mean? Like how you can have sort of have like different lists in your YouTube channel, whatever.
Or maybe
Like
Sure.
have a
try and like
personal
separate
channel.
that or whatever. But
So people want to know. You're saying the thing is
there's a
that people
separate audience.
got it,
There's a
and
separate audience for that.
So
Yeah.
maybe have a personal channel, a personal channel for your personal stuff,
Yeah.
and then a gaming channel or if I subscribe to a channel that talks about movies, what's coming out, what's going on, Blu-rays and 4K, and I go in one day and the guy's talking about cats, I'm gonna be like, what the fuck?
yeah, it's almost like the same thing. Like if you run like I don't know, here's a perfect example. An Instagram account, right? Into your personal Instagram account, and you don't give a fuck about what you post, and there's no theme to it. Guess what? The only people that are going to follow it is that people who know you personally or people who like give a shit about your life. You know what I mean? It's like you know what I mean? Like I guess I'm trying to say is like I don't give a fuck about that, you know? I guess I'm not
Yeah.
that audience. Like I don't care like about your personal life and stuff. Like for example, maybe this is biased because I'll admit it's my favorite channel, the GameSack channel. Like what's his face? Joe is just on it now. And sadly, I'll even fully admit I totally forgot the other guy's name at this point because
Joe, right?
no, it was Joe and then the other
Oh,
dude,
Dave.
Dave. Yeah, so Dave, just like you know what I mean. Point proven. I don't know why he left the channel. Quite frankly, I don't care. You know what I mean? The show just went on. One episode, they're like, "Oh yeah, by the way, this is gonna be, Joe's second to last episode. We're sad to see him leave, but we just gotta move on." And I think that's how they handled it. They handled it in all of like 6 seconds on a video. And
Yeah.
there was no like updates about like, hey, you guys mad at each other, blah blah blah, or I just made up my own story in my head. I just figured the guy just didn't want to fucking edit videos anymore or commit his time to it. He just wanted to use his time for other things. He just maybe
Yeah.
didn't get joy out of it, or maybe they did have a fight about. Maybe the channel started actually making some money or something, and there was a
And,
disagreement. Blah
and,
blah
and I
blah.
think that's what it comes down to too, is when people see other people becoming more popular or getting subscribers, they're
Sure.
generating a bigger audience than they are. But again, my whole thing is just stick to what your channel is known for. Again, with Boogie2988, love the Francis video, love the stuff, but then all of a sudden he's talking about his weight loss. It's like, what? That's not why I hit the subscribe button.
Well, I guess you know what I guess the people who I guess here's the other thing to touch on. The reason why they make these updates that we don't really care about is because we aren't a mainstream audience. I think we have to realize, three of us, the people who actually like really driving the views on YouTube, which are probably people
Oh,
more
it's definitely
so.
not us.
Yeah, they're more so probably like what, 15 to 25,
Yeah.
something like that. Like the person that's 15 to 25, it probably does give a shit about that kind of stuff. And that's why they're getting the views and that's why they're getting, all that kind of shit. So, I don't know. Well, any other additional thoughts before we move on? Because, I don't
We're
know.
triggered.
Yeah, it does trigger me because honestly, I don't want to see it in my feed. I don't give a fuck, you know?
Yeah. Well, I think I'm with you on that one.
All right. Well, let's go to the next topic. It's an update on J2 Games. The reason I want to touch on it again is because we returned again this past Saturday during a Nava, and we do have a friend. His name is John, who attends the Nava, and basically his story, and I'll summarize it from the tidbits that he told me, is that he bought, I think it was an audio file.
PS1, right?
PS1. Yeah, and I think the first problem he had was the guy was giving him like an attitude about swapping the controller. Other places that I guess he's used to shopping would give him that option. You know what I mean? Because I guess they don't really give a fuck. They look at it as a sale. But this guy, I think, J2 Games, I think they're very particular about the items and accessories that come with it, and which I will touch on a little bit more later. But long story short, he also said that the system at a later time just stopped working. And I guess he was so pissed off, like he didn't
And
even
we're
want to go
talking within
back.
a week. Just to elaborate, we're talking within a week.
Yeah, and he was claiming that he didn't even want to go back to get a return, I guess. I don't know. If I had that, I'd be like, just give me my cash or give me my refund on my credit card and call it a day. But I guess I don't know. I don't know what he did past that point, but that's what happened. Um, and another thing was we realized that I thought at first that they were giving killer deals, and we commented on this in the last episode, and we will stand corrected. Is it wasn't actually a good deal on the Sega Saturn. Um,
Oh yeah, we did a little more investigation.
yep. So it was $59.99 because it was the console only. No hookups. So no hookups, not even like your basic bare bones composite hookups. No power cord and no controller. Not even a third party controller. So like when you go in, that means I don't know, like I'll be honest with you, it is kind of weird cuz maybe that would appeal to me cuz I'm like a collector, I'm a hoarder, whatever, blah blah blah. Maybe I have extra hookups lying around. I know where to buy them cheap. But the common like customer, they're gonna be like, "What the fuck? What do I do with this?" You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, so any thoughts on both of those things with the consoles being shitty? I guess that's what we're finding out. Like, you
Did
know,
you guys purchase anything? I left a little bit earlier than you guys. Did you guys end up grabbing anything there?
yes, I did.
I,
But go ahead, Dave.
I was gonna say I didn't get anything at J2. I ended up getting some stuff over at Nava, but no, I didn't grab anything at J2. I mean, they had a couple things that looked okay,
What were your
but
thoughts, Dave? Since that was your first time there.
I mean, it was well, the fact that I didn't buy anything kind of sucks because I was willing to buy something if they had something that I wanted, but they didn't really have anything that I wanted, which was kind of what we were talking about last week. Is that it's all about the inventory. And the inventory was a little bit light there, in my opinion. I mean, for what I was looking for. So I was kind of specifically looking for light gun games and like OG Xbox shit.
Right.
And they just didn't really have much for me. But like, I wasn't really shopping for NES or, some other shit. So maybe somebody else would have done better. But for me, I didn't really find shit.
Yeah,
But the girl behind the counter was nice. It's a clean store.
yeah, but ultimately, I guess it's the thing is like your selection and your prices is gonna be the thing, and
Yep.
that was my first experience too. I literally scanned the store from top to bottom, and maybe I missed a thing that I did not end up buying the next week. But like I was just like, what's going on? You know, I think I'm a shopper that's driven by price. Like I want to find a deal because I'm like a passive collector. You know what I mean? If that makes sense.
Mhm.
I'm not like aggressively saying, okay, here's the game right in front
I
of me.
have to have I have to have this at this moment.
Correct. And you know, I didn't, and it was the same experience for me, just like crossing. Like I went there and I was like, what the fuck, and I didn't even buy anything, and I went home kind of bummed, you know.
Right.
Um, but my experience from the last time wasn't even from buying anything. It was from playing in the arcade games, and this time around, all the arcade games were off. Granted, they were closing in an hour. You know what I mean? So maybe
Yeah,
the
we did get there late.
yeah, but I guess the thing that did happen is I did end up buying something, and I think it's the only thing that will save them for a collector is that I find this happening a lot at stores for me is that basically a store does not price on condition, but it's weird because J2 Games writes the condition and the price. Like they'll say good, acceptable, or whatever, and then the price. And I ended up buying a Bugs Bunny game for SNES.
Oh, you did get it.
Yes.
Okay.
And to be honest with you, the exact title, here it is, Rabbit Rampage. It left my mind just then. Rabbit Rampage, and the only reason I bought it is because the box itself was so minty.
Yeah, it
It
was
look,
super minty.
yeah,
I was a little suspicious that it might have been a repro.
yeah. I was a little suspicious as well, but I looked at it, and that's not a
I,
game. That's not a game that someone's gonna make a reproduction of.
Exactly. Yeah, I was like, who the fuck is going to remake that one?
and Paul was looking at that thing for 20 minutes,
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
oh yeah. For me to play,
scouring it, looking for a crease in the manual.
oh yeah. If I have the opportunity to look at something and I have time to kill, you better believe I'll look at something up and down. And the thing that also was nice, it looks like they don't usually put box protectors on thing, but the girl like obviously knew I was anal about condition, and she gave me a box protector. And at that point, you know, they didn't charge me for the box protector either. So
Right.
at that point, I was like, all right, fine. At that point,
Sold.
sold. You know what I mean? I don't have to worry
Yeah.
about this shit getting crushed. You know, and I was looking at the sold listings on eBay. All the boxes were beat to shit, and basically
Well,
they priced it, you know, for one that was recently sold, and I saw a few that were like really minty go more close to 40, and I bought it for roughly 26 bucks plus tax. So I said, you know what? Based on condition, this makes sense to buy this here. But anything else, like, not really, you know. Um, but I can see some wins, like if you bought like a cardboard boxed based game there. But
And you're anal about condition.
correct. And that's the only thing I can see someone winning. Like, you know what I mean? Like some top tier titles like but but that's the other problem. Most of the time they're going to just like jack the price up by twice the price. Like let's say I don't know. I'm trying to think of a title that would make sense with condition on a box. It totally left my mind. Let's just think of an RPG, like
Well,
Final
they had
Fantasy
that feel.
3 or something.
Okay. Yeah.
Let's say Final Fantasy 3 comes to this store and the box is like absolutely fucking mint. It contains the map, the
All the
inserts.
inserts. Right.
Yeah, and if they were charging me like full fucking price and it was like the high end or something, it wasn't double the price, I would buy it, you know? Something like that.
As long as it isn't $40 over retail.
Correct. Correct. So, but
Well, we'll continue to keep an eye out and see how they do.
all right. I guess I'll move along to the next one. Where I realize we're doing like 10 minutes per topic here. But an update is that I was banned at GameStop for trading in things because I was abusing the trade-in policy, and their basically rule set is that you can't trade in more than I believe 4 of the same game. And it doesn't matter if you do it like 1 game each day, 4 all at once, or 4 over time. It's all the same to them. You know, the people who work at the store think you can do 2 a day or whatever. Honestly, it doesn't matter. If you just trade more than 4 of the same game, period at the same store. I think even across all stores, you get
Is
a
there a
trade
time?
ban.
Is there a time period or
I
just
believe the rumor is within 30 days. These are all
okay?
just verbal discussion. There's nothing, by the way, there's nothing on this in writing on like GameStop's site or anything like this to my current knowledge. If someone
This is
knows that,
just right.
yeah, if someone knows that, by all means point it out to me because I would love to see that.
Add it in the comments. Yeah.
Yeah. But long story short, someone was like, I called their customer support and I talked to other people who are psychos like me, and they said, call GameStop corporate. They'll just lift the trade ban. So I called GameStop corporate when I was working throughout the day, put my phone on hold. It probably took an hour before I was connected to the right person. And I talked to them, extremely nice on the phone, and I said, hey, I have a trade ban. I was just honest. I was like, I just want you to lift it because honestly, I'm not getting what I paid for. I'm not able to trade things in. I paid for this membership. Can you undo this for me? And they were like, basically, no. You have to wait the 90 days. And I was like, okay. So what's the next steps to get the refund on the pro membership? Even though it's only $15, I was kind of just poking at it. And they were like, you have to do that in store, or you can call us back and we actually write you a check. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, what the fuck? So honestly, if I might actually do it, to be honest with you, because the only thing I'm getting is if I'm not allowed to trade things in, I'll debate. You know, if I want to actually trade a bunch of junk in, I might actually demand the refund. But honestly, it's probably a waste of time anyway, over $15. And at this point, the pro
You've
membership is
already
just
spent
complete
too much
shit.
time on it, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, an hour on the phone would have triggered me.
Well, you know, I was sitting at home, working from home, and I wasn't on a meeting. I just put it on mute and just continued to work, so. Uh, well, that's that. I guess getting banned is a real thing. It happened. I'm triggered. I'll just move to the next one right away. It's kind of more of an update than a discussion. But here's something I think that really fucking triggers me. If you sell on eBay, it's different from like a Craigslist posting or like OfferUp, Facebook Marketplace, blah blah blah, because that's like all negotiation in my mind. But someone put up when someone puts up a buy it now offer, and well, I'll just tell my story. I put up a buy it now listing for a TurboGrafx CD dock. I put it up for $119.99 shipped, which is like $8 over which one actually sold about, I don't know, 2 months ago or something like that.
So 118 shipped.
Yeah, yeah. Let's just say 120 shipped, right?
Oh, okay.
And then someone sends me a message, not even 24 hours. No, three people sent me messages, not only 24 hours after I listed it, and it came in like within the dead of fucking night when I was sleeping, and they were like, a message, will you take $100 for this? And I just replied, no, thank you. You know what I mean? I wasn't like an ass on it, but like in my
Right.
head, I'm like,
But your offer button was off.
my offer button was off. Yes.
Yeah, happens to me a lot as well.
Yeah. You know what that is? Those are the collectards that have, I mean, I'm a collectard too, and I have, you know, things that I'm watching, like alerts for certain things, you know, because I'm waiting for a price. But these are people waiting for an alert for a rare item that rarely gets listed. You know what I'm saying? And they were on it because honestly, not you don't see often what I'm selling. That people are just selling the fucking dock without the turbo graphics, without the hookup, without the actual CD player. It's for someone who, I don't know, broke theirs or something like
Or
that.
has all that already.
Correct, exactly. So this is for someone who doesn't want to buy a complete setup just to buy that part. You know, it's not going to come up on eBay often. And in my head, I'm like, if you fucking want this thing and you know it's worth that price, you're still, I mean, you know what I mean? Like, it'd be different if my listing was sitting for like 2 weeks and the best offer button was actually on. But like,
Right.
how much of a collectard are you? And like, you're foaming at the fucking mouth to send that message within less than 24 hours. Like, I don't know. That's what triggers me when I'm commenting on that.
Oh,
There's this.
it
It's
happens to me all the
ridiculous.
time. Yeah, it happens to me all the time. And I'd say, and what's funny is sometimes when people are trying to save like $3, right? So I had it this week too. 2 days ago, I listed a 4K movie
Hmm.
that was shit, and I just was like, I said, I don't even want this in my collection. It's just, I forget the movie, whatever. But so I put it up for, I think everyone else used was like $22. I put it up for 17.50 shipped. And I was like, this should go pretty quick because I priced it aggressively.
Hmm.
And literally within an hour, I had a message saying, would you take 15 for this? And it's like, and I'll be honest with you, being that same thing, Paul, was literally within an hour of listing it. And maybe if it was a month later, it was 6 weeks later, I'd be like, you know what, I'll take the 15, whatever, right? I didn't even respond to the message because I knew that quick. If I got a message that quick, that movie was going to sell.
Yep.
And kid you not, the next morning I woke up and it was sold. I looked on my phone and I shipped it.
Yep.
So I knew immediately as soon as I got the message, I was like, I'm not even going to respond. Sometimes I'll be nice. I'll never be an asshole. I'll say, no, thank you. Appreciate it. But other times I just won't even respond because again, my offer button wasn't on. You want the movie. You want to literally save $2 on a Snapple. It's like, my whole thing is there's a time to haggle and there's a time not to haggle. We can go into that another, but in
Hmm.
generalizing is, to save $2 on something you really want when you already know that it's $5 under everyone else's price on eBay. You know what I'm saying? And I just, at that point, I just ignore the message. And it happens to me all the time. And I'd say 50-50. 50% of the time I respond. 50% of the time I just don't respond to the message, because it's like, especially like you said, like if you just listed it, like if it was a month later, maybe you'd be like, all right, I'll take 100. But you
Hmm.
listed it 4 hours ago,
Yeah.
3 hours ago.
And I'll be honest, I did kind of troll, like passive aggressive troll. The second that guy kept messaging me, I was like, no, I don't want to take your offer. And he even countered like $10 less, and I almost agreed to his offer, but I'm like, dude, it hasn't even been 24 hours. Like, if it doesn't sell for full asking price in a week, send me that offer for 110, and I'll take it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Uh,
give it a week. Jesus.
and then just to go on, I just want to go into another message I got this week since we're on the eBay topic. I
Sure.
thought was kind of interesting. So I have an art print online. I believe it was an Aliens Queen art print from Sideshow Collectibles.
Hmm.
And just a quick overview of what I do with art prints is, and Paul, you know me, I hoard and collect, collectibles. I buy a lot of art prints, and what I'll do is I'll buy, even if I'm unsure, I'll buy it because what happens is once they sell out, the prices go up on these things. And it's not even so much that I'm buying it to flip because sometimes I do keep, you see when they come to my house, I have these art prints up.
Hmm.
And I just keep them. And then I'll decide down the road. And again, not all of them go up in price. Some of them stay pretty much the same. And a lot of times I would say about 80% of the time when I sell an art print, I mean, there are exceptions. I sold a toothless art print for, $350, but that was just an exception, a huge exception. And I think I paid like $90 to $80 for it or whatever. But this one particular art print, I was like, you know what? I put it on eBay. The price really didn't change that much. I just pretty much want what I have invested in it, which I think was, I had it up for like $135 because you figure with taxes and shipping and eBay fees, I'll end up getting back the $100 because it was $102 shipped to my house. Okay. And the guy asked me, he's like, would you take $50 for this? And I was like, listen, man, I have the art print up for pretty much retail. I'm not making anything on this. It's not even about making money, but I'll be damned if I'm going to lose money. I'm just trying to recoup what I bought it
Sure.
for. And why would I take 50% of value? And damn well, and I was a little triggered on it, and I was like, you know what? And I was a little passive aggressive. I wasn't nasty, but I was kind of like upfront, like, why would I take 50% less of value? I'm not on crack. I don't do drugs. I don't need this money like ASA. The $40 is not going to put food on my table tonight or pay my electric bill. I'd rather hang it in my house before I take your $40, I'll frame it and stick it in my house somewhere before I lose, 50, $60 on it. And then he sends back another email saying, well, that's a disappointing answer because I spent thousands of dollars on eBay and you would have had a customer for life. And, so I wish I had the email right now. I didn't think I was going to talk about it, but just his email was just something to that effect. And I was like, oh my God, give it a fucking break. He's like, come on, really? Oh, you would have had a customer for life. Dude, I don't want your $40. I'm going to get back what I put into it. Just quick story out there. So it's just these people on eBay that are, it's like, give me a break, man. Like, someone that's desperate for money, might, I don't know. But again, I'd rather hang it on my wall than lose $60,
Mm-hmm. I don't know, man. Yeah, and maybe it's also just people that are just like shooting like at fish in a barrel. Eventually, like if they keep trying to lowball all these people,
and then
eventually
snag a fish. I don't know. Yeah, maybe
somebody's
right.
gonna.
that I mean, maybe.
And you think he's trying to like sell it? I don't know. I mean, or does he really want it for himself? Who knows? I just don't know.
I don't know. I just think people are fucking nuts.
I just thought that thing was so bizarre, though. Like, just such a bizarre email that I got there, and you get them from time to time,
Well, everyone is trash. Everyone who buys, sells, trades, we're all trash. Every single person.
That's true.
We're all trash. All right. Here's something very interesting, actually, and Crossan, maybe you can jump more into this, but one thing that we've noticed is that portable collecting seems to be on the rise again, and I think portable games are rising a bit in value. And one thing that numerous people have commented on in the past, what seems like only the month or so, is all of a sudden Neo Geo Pocket Color is hot again. Crossan, what's going on here? What the hell's happening?
I didn't even know about that until you guys pointed it out like today or yesterday, whatever. But I mean, it's got to be the analog, right? I mean, it's got to be the analog pocket because that's gonna take. I don't know, like if it's gonna take the cartridges like right off the box, but I know they're having like adapters come, but all the cores are loaded in the pocket. So that, I mean, to me, that's got to be what it is. Like, I don't know what the hell else it could possibly be. I mean, I don't know if there's like YouTubers out there suddenly making all these Neo Geo Pocket Color videos or whatever, jacking up the price, but I kind of doubt it. So to me, it's got to be the analog because it's inexpensive. It looks fucking gorgeous. It looks awesome. I want it.
Yeah.
And it's going to play the actual cartridges, and if it's anything like, oh no, I was going to say like you might be able to dump the ROM using their thing, but I don't think it works. I don't think they do that out of the box. I was thinking of the Terra Onion.
No, it's not out of the box, but one thing I have to agree with you. I think this is kind of driving it again because maybe the interest is there. I mean, I think this is amazing because it's totally fucking killing all these like mod jobs that people are paying ass tons
through
of
the
money.
nose for.
Yeah, so for example, basically people are paying like insane amounts of money for modded Game Boy Advances with the 101 backlit screens. Like what they do is they take the backlit screen and they put it in the original OG launch form factor of the Game Boy Advance, so not the SP. And the reason is for that is because they can play all the different carts without any, I guess, impact to the playability of the console. Like for example, if you put the old Game Boy cartridges into an SP, it's like sticking out and shit. But I think that's really about it because as far as I know, it doesn't kill any other compatibility. But I think the main reason is that it's like the form factor and stuff.
It's the form factor. It's the fact that this thing also has like a dock, so it'll probably be the first time outside of emulation that you can play it on a TV.
That is true as well. It is FPGA versus emulation. Like, for example, the Retron 5 let you put all of these carts except, I think, the Game Gear until they put out an adapter. Um, and nothing for Atari Lynx or Neo Geo Pocket Color. So this is some new compatibility, I guess, too. Um,
Yeah, it's definitely. I mean, I can definitely see the appeal. Like, it'll be the first time you'll be able to play the Lynx,
hmm
Neo Geo Pocket Color, or not Neo Geo Pocket, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No, but they didn't call it Color. That was the Game Boy. I don't think they had to call it Color.
Uh,
Um,
yeah, they did. I think later in the life, it was technically a second system release, like a revision.
oh, was it? I wonder. I wonder if they're going to do a Wonder Swan core.
As of now, no, but possibly.
I'm sure someone's going to put that together.
But you're right, Cross. And the other thing you pointed out is the dock. And here's the thing that makes me go fucking nuts is that basically the other thing that I was actually interested in doing for the longest time, even though there are um, solutions to, I guess, make this possible, such as like modded Game Gears with RGB out and stuff, basically a consoleized Game Gear. I almost
Hmm.
paid a ton of money for that because I was like, oh, it's real hardware, blah, blah, blah. But I think this totally eliminates or kills that. And the fact that I can play Game Gear on actual FPGA hardware and it's on a TV and it'll just fucking work is actually very appealing to me. Um, and the fact that the Game Gear screen is just complete fucking shit in terms of quality of life today. I mean, you can't
Yeah.
like try playing an unmodded Game Gear today. You'll drive yourself fucking insane.
Well, the other thing too is that try playing a Game Gear game on like your Mega SG,
hmm
on your 4K TV or on your 1080p TV, and like it's nice that it's there and all that stuff, but it looks terrible.
It'll
So to
trigger you.
actually, yeah, it's put it like on like a screen that small again. I think that's perfect for it. Yeah, I've never once actually played one of those games on my on my OLED. You know what I mean? Like I'm not playing a Game Gear game. They just don't look good.
Yeah, and it is the whole thing is just very appealing. But
Yeah.
I guess we can also just touch on like the increase in value. I don't know. Maybe people are just getting bored of collecting certain things, and now it's like the wave of what's the next weird fucking thing I can start collecting because I collected all the Nintendo games I can afford, and now the only thing out of my reach is like the really expensive items or so forth. Like, here, let's see. Yep, it looks like things are selling. I don't think things are raising in value. Maybe the box games. Yep, there we go. Boxed anything boxed portable, I think is gonna be nuts. Yeah, like holy shit. Sonic the Hedgehog Pocket Adventure for Neo Geo Pocket Color. This game is common as dirt. This and I think what was the
Damn.
other one that was fucking common as dirt? I think the first Metal Slug is pretty common, but Sonic for this is really was a common game. I mean, I think that was like the best-selling game. I'm just guessing in America, but it was definitely Sonic and Metal Slug First Mission were very common, um, even in the box. And I think like maybe King of Fighters. Like here is Metal Slug First Mission, but it came with second mission card only. $100. So you're probably looking at $100 per box game average. It looks like now. So, and look, let's even try this. Game Boy. Oh, I can actually do this on price charting. I realize this will be interesting. Ready? Price charting. This is my actually favorite thing to look at sometimes. I'll go to Nintendo, and then let me find Game Boy Advance. Here it is. And then here we go. Average price for all licensed Game Boy Advance games. More details right here. So here's the average price for... Oh, it's not coming up. Maybe it's just on that chart right there. Yeah, here we go. I guess this is loose because it says it's only $9. Yeah. Maybe I'm wrong. I would think the CIB is going to be much fucking higher. But
Yeah, it's got to be.
yeah, I think this is complete shit because I used to go to these and these charts were like really cool to look at. But let's just do something like this real quick before we end this topic. I'm just going to search Game Boy Advance Complete, right? And then I am just going to go to sold. I'm going to see what actually sold recently and then do highest and just see for shits and giggles. So here we go. Metroid Fusion, $85. Altered Beast for Game Boy Advance, $60. Is this a different game? I'm actually interested in this now. Look at me. I'm a collector. I'm like, ugh.
Like that picture drooling?
Yeah, I'm the picture drooling. Or is this just the generic Altered Beast? Because I don't remember this being 60 fucking bucks complete. Here you go. Circle of the Moon, the launch Castlevania, $60. Fucking Digimon, Ice Climber. Yeah, shit is definitely selling for complete. I mean, there's like a solid average of like, you know, it's going. Mega Man 02 for looks like $70. Minish Cap, solid $90 there. You know, it ain't exactly chump change. The Pokemon Center NYC Edition Game Boy Advance system for $1,000 sold. Now I'm sorting highest. Spirits and Spells for Game Boy Advance, 270 fucking bucks complete. Gem Smashers, whatever the fuck that is, $250. So yeah, shit is selling. Here's a sealed area of Sorrow that sold for $210. It's pretty interesting. Of course, you got, oh, this has always been like $1 billion. Car Battler Joe, 160, which is some weird rare game. But yeah, I definitely think you are right, Cross. In the analog pocket, and I think people's boredom, they're moving on to new things. I think portables are definitely going to start to become more of a focus. So the next topic was the Sega Pluto. And the reason we're commenting on this is because our dear pal Adam Koralik posted a video where I don't know where he was in the video, but he met up with a collector who owns one of two Pluto prototypes. And what a Sega Pluto is basically, to my knowledge, the Sega Saturn prototype, but it has the network adapter built in. Nothing more, nothing less.
And it has the 32X built in, no?
No, that's the Neptune.
Oh, okay, I'm getting them confused.
Yeah, that was a different planet.
Got it. Same solar system.
Yeah. No, but yeah, I think it was like the American design version.
So
that's
okay.
What I gathered from Adam's video, is that like it seemed to be like the American version of the Sega Saturn, where they built the networking already into the hardware. And obviously it looked a little bit different, but it was essentially just the Saturn.
So this thing is essentially a Saturn with a network adapter plug-in?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean the connectors are all the same as the stock Saturn.
And there's an actual prototype?
Yeah, like they're literally playing Saturn games on it.
And how many of these things exist, and where was it found? And
apparently at it was found at like a swap meet, flea market type thing.
Really?
For $3.
Ugh. Triggered.
I know. Such a score, man.
Seriously. I mean, the person probably didn't even know what they had at first.
Oh, clearly not.
Like, what the hell is this?
If you watch the video, the guy's like, he had it listed for $5, and he's like, I'll give you 3. and so we got it for 3.
Oh, I got it. As soon as we hang up, I'm going to watch that video. Where's it on YouTube?
It's on Adam's channel, yeah, Adam Koralik.
All right, I'm gonna check it out.
Yeah, and the condition of the one that was actually up was kind of rough. It looked like they had to hold down the disk drive for it to play, and it looks like the first controller port has to be held down just so the contacts actually work, so you can use a controller. So basically, it's not something that's like not fixable. Honestly, anyone who could fix a Sega Saturn could fix this really quick. I'm actually surprised the guy hasn't, asked someone to just fix it, which is weird. You know, I don't know, maybe he just wants to keep it in all original or something like that, which is a good thought. Um, Maybe it's just like some part to keep the disk drive down. Has to be like 3D printed. That's my only guess. But like it is in rough condition. It's one of two. Based on some quick research right now, it looks like the other person that owns one was a former Sega employee that's held on to it. Um,
That's interesting.
yeah, and I forget the owner's name, but he was kind of advertising in the video like this is going to be the next, PlayStation, Nintendo PlayStation. Hey, retro video game conventions, give me an invite. So I'll put Dave Crossan on the spot. What do you think of that? You think that's a go? Is there actually it's a good topic. Do you think people I mean obviously we care. We like to see it. We think it's cool. I think it'll have appeal for like maybe one touring session and then everyone will be like, "Okay, I saw it. I held it. I licked it. I'm good."
Yeah, I mean it's definitely, especially for Sega fans like myself, it's it's very tempting, but it's that sort of like bias that I have towards Sega stuff, but it's not as interesting as the Nintendo Sony PlayStation thing, just because the story behind it isn't nearly as dramatic. It didn't have like the same impact that that whole relationship did, or the breakdown of relationship, whatever. So it doesn't just doesn't have like the same cachet behind it as far as like intrigue and pull and people's interest behind it, just because it's essentially just another version of a Saturn that was prototyped, but it's not like it's a Neptune. Like a Neptune, I think would be that. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? Like like the thing that had like a built-in, was it like the Sega CD with the 32X, like all
But
that
yeah,
hardware
it's
built
essentially
in?
just built into one without having the whole thing stacked up. And
Yeah, because I mean that would be like totally. I don't know. I feel like for me that would be a little bit more interesting. But the Pluto, I mean, it's cool and all that stuff, but I don't know. It just doesn't have the same cachet, I think. What do you guys think?
I agree
no,
with
I agree
everything
with
you
you. Yeah,
said. Yeah.
100%.
I mean, and that's coming from I'm a huge Sega fan. You know what I mean?
Don't say that too loud.
I know Adam's probably not going to be happy with me. That's all right.
Well, I mean, I mean, I think it'll be cool if they go to like a bigger show or something, but like,
I mean, if they go to like a Sega convention, that's like a no-brainer, or museum type thing. I mean, if we had more room for like a touring museum type thing, then that would be cool to bring stuff like that in. But we're a small show; we don't really have room for that. So
yeah, and like, maybe it'll be cool if like the guy's just willing to take, only like lodging and like a table, like the standard package basically. Because basically this guy is going to get free advertisement because I think the end goal is just like the Nintendo PlayStation where they go, it's not for sale for 2, 3 years, and then guess what? It's on Heritage Auctions,
right.
3 years later. And I'm sorry, I kind of like I called that it was like complete shit, and then eventually it's for sale, and it's like it's basically it's kind of like I don't know, it's kind of like any collectibles dealer actually just driving up hype and creating false rumors and stuff. I got an offer for fucking this much money. Well, why didn't you take it? You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird to me. I'm kind of like on both sides of the fence about it, but I'll be honest, if I'll fully admit, because I'm a scumbag, if I had that thing, I'd be doing the same thing. I'd be like, okay, I guess I got to tour, you know, around
Yeah,
so
I would.
people
I
can
mean, I
look
don't
at it.
blame the guy for seeing if like
Oh yeah,
he
not
can
at
do
all.
something like that at all. But
Yeah, not at
I
all.
just don't. I mean, the 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 the, the Nintendo PlayStation is like a physical artifact of a
Plus,
huge
it's one of a
shift in
kind.
the video game,
That's what I was
and it's
saying. There's
one of a
only
kind.
one known to exist.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
So,
it's like a physical artifact of this huge change in the video game industry that still you see it today.
and the
You know what I mean?
merger, and think about it, the merger that would have been. I mean, that's just such a huge story in itself. But
Yeah.
um,
And the Pluto is just, oh well, here's something else that Sega was working with.
because if
You
you
know.
look at it, each party went their own way and so totally revamped the entire gaming industry.
Right.
But and going on, a little off topic here, but I believe this thing is going to have an auction next month. Am I wrong in saying that, or?
I think it's soon. They keep saying it's soon, but no one's
I think
confirmed.
I'm thinking the beginning of March. I heard, so I'd be interested to see what this thing actually fetches.
All right. Well, it'll be an interesting thing to keep track of for sure. All of the stuff with these prototypes. So here's an interesting topic, and I agree with this. This is something I don't see often, and Crossan, you can touch on this more. But we want to discuss follow-up videos on YouTube, and what that means is we don't see people doing a follow-up after there's a patch on a game, because every game has patches now and firmware updates for consoles as well as devices and retro tech. It's almost like with a game could go through an evolution, and the worst is I forget that PlayStation game that you could visit the planets and stuff. It totally escapes me.
Oh yeah.
No Man's Sky. It came.
Yeah, there you go.
So No Man's Sky, if I pop in the PS4 disc right now and I'm not connected to the internet, it's a totally fucking game. Totally different fucking game. If you got the patch from 6 months after release, semi-different game. The game that you get now after you wait for the patches to download, it's fucking total overhaul, you know?
Yeah.
And it has VR support, for God's sake. So, Crossan, I guess touch on this. What have you seen anyone actually
Well, yeah,
do
the
this?
reason why I thought about this. Yeah, the reason why I thought about this is because I'm sitting there, I'm looking at the Super System 3, right, the SSD 3, or whatever the fuck the name is, and I'm wanting to pull the trigger. So I'm looking at all these videos, and of course, My Life in Gaming comes up, so I start watching the My Life in Gaming video. And, I'm just expecting, because it's Terra Onion, they came out with the Mega SD. I'm just expecting, like, it's a no-brainer, go get it, whatever. And, he brought up some serious issues in it. And I was like, okay. I was kind of expecting this to just be, like, an easy decision. Let me go see some other videos and see, like, if anybody else talked about this, more recently, to see any other kind of updates. And nobody's really done it. So like this is just kind of like one example, but and it probably applies way more to games, especially like games as a service or whatever, which probably have entire channels dedicated to it. But it was just something that like I would like to see a little bit more often, I guess. Because when you're looking up spending $300 or whatever it is like on the new tech, like you kind of want the latest information, and like unless you're really kind of going in and digging and doing like, looking at forums and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You can find it, I guess, like if you're really, really digging, but like, I don't know. I guess I would just like to see more follow-up videos, but at the same time, that's just me being kind of selfish because as a content creator, they just kind of want to make whatever the fuck they want when they want to make it. You know what I'm saying? But, so it's just me bitching, I guess, but it would just be nice to see, or at least like follow-up fucking article or something, because digging for firmware updates, yeah, it's not always easy.
Oh, so you're saying the video that you found, like the My Life in Gaming, they had some criticisms?
Yeah. Yeah, there were some legit criticisms in there about how they're, I can't remember what they are specifically now, but but it was from when the thing first came out. But there's been at least one firmware update since then. Like, was that shit addressed? Like, I don't know.
Yes. So yeah, I know what you're talking about. The RGB output on it on the first wave was bad, and of course, My Life in Gaming, that's their focus, the quality of the video output, basically, in a nutshell.
Yeah.
That's what they do, you know. And
Yeah.
that's why they did it. But that was, and it is interesting to say that the only reason I know this is because I was following this like a hawk. Is they did,
Right.
I think it was.
Did they do a follow-up video? I mean, maybe they did, and I just didn't see it.
Well,
But
to answer your question, no, My Life in Gaming did not return to it, nor have I seen any videos of people saying, videos from larger YouTubers even, where they said, hey, you know, Terra Onion released the part 2, and the firmware update, and maybe it was a minor hardware revision or something, or the next wave was like fixed with the firmware loaded on it already, stuff like that, and it's much better. There was no videos to answer your question, I guess. And,
yeah, not for nothing. Maybe Terra Onion should be doing the videos too, to say like, hey, guys, we addressed this shit. But you know what? They're selling out anyway. It doesn't really matter. Like,
exactly.
They don't have to do anything.
That's exactly what I was going to say, is that, yeah, they don't. And most of these videos are probably quote-unquote sponsored, so they send it to them for free. And Terra Onion's like, when we do a production of this in China or whatever the fuck it's made, the second that we get it in a pre-order, it sells out.
Gone.
Yeah, so we don't even give a fuck, probably. That's exactly what it is. Man, must be nice to have the supply and demand of a product is so high that you sell out instantly. Must be pretty damn.
It's sold out before you even have it manufactured.
That's crazy.
What? Yeah.
But yeah, that is a thing. I think it's a thing that should be more. I guess people should be more attentive to it. And if you are in this hobby, it unfortunately is the case that you have to do your own research, especially with an enthusiast product.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so PS5 and Xbox Series X updates. What have you guys heard about, and even rumors? Anything confirmed? Anything that you are tracking?
I'm tracking that I know nothing.
I've been hearing rumors on the PS5. Haven't heard too much on the Xbox, but what I'm hearing on the PS5, their website went live actually, and I'm hearing rumors, and again only rumors, that this thing might go live within 2 to 3 weeks. But the PS5.
What, like launch?
Pre-orders, obviously.
Oh.
And a confirmed price point, which is yet to be announced.
Yeah, I'm like 70...
you can't open pre-orders without announcing the price and some details of the product.
Well, listen, Saturn got launched right away.
I know, but they weren't launching pre-orders. That was literally like...
No, I hear you.
And it was a bad idea.
Yeah, no question. I'm just saying that anything can be done. But again, it's only rumors. I don't think it's going to happen. But again, I'm kind of like logging into I'm just checking on the site kind of like, every other day and keeping my eyes peeled for, a post on Facebook or something, anticipating maybe they are, because I'm hearing that they're going to have a first wave go out because they want to get these in the hands of consumers for beta testing, essentially, to be guinea pigs. So they might launch, let's say the first, 10,000 units, 15,000 units, and get them in the hands of consumers to, play with them, get their feet wet in them, see, firmware updates, hardware issues. That's kind of the rumors I've been hearing. What are your thoughts, Paul?
That that they would do some sort of like launch like that? Like
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think they could do anything like that. I think I think my only thoughts on PS5 and Xbox Series X, like new thoughts, I guess, besides what you already touched on, is that I think Xbox is definitely going to be behind once again. That's like pretty much confirmed. It's like the writing's already on the wall. Like they have nothing that's like coming to really like push people to buy it.
Right.
I think that I think the fact that we have no firm details with price points or the confirmation of compatibility is that they're probably going. What's going to happen is Xbox Series X is going to be $100 more than whatever PS5 ends up being. They're both going to be around the $500 mark.
Well, that's kind of interesting. You maybe just realized that like there was some sort of announcement, or it wasn't an announcement. It might have just been like some sort of like comment. I don't remember if it was online or it might have been like an investor call or something like that. But essentially, Sony is saying that they're waiting for Microsoft to announce the price.
And Microsoft's waiting for
Microsoft is
Sony.
waiting for Sony
Right.
to announce the price.
So
it's going to be like this endless loop of waiting.
Right.
Yeah, it's a stalemate.
Right.
So whoever breaks first, we'll see what happens. But
I think Xbox will announce first because they don't give a fuck as much.
Yeah.
Well, and they can just be like, just pull all their balls out and just be like, yeah, we're going at $400.
So
we're going to take a hit on each and every console because we can afford it because we're Microsoft.
Okay, so let's go on the pricing. So you guys are thinking $499 for the, or $599 for the Xbox, $499 for the PlayStation. Is that, what are you thinking, Carlson?
I think they're both going to be $499.
You think they're both? What about you, Paul?
I think how much was PS4 and Xbox at launch?
$499 and $399.
Really?
PS4 was $399, Dave?
Yep.
I remember the PS3 was $599 for the 80 gig or something.
Yep.
Dude, I think it's just going to be a repeat of the last launch. I think Xbox is going to be $499.99.
Okay.
And PS5 is going to be $399.99 because I think the fact that Sony's price point has been that for whenever they launched their consoles, the last two waves. PS4 day one was $399.99. PS4 Pro day one was $399.99. So I think it's just following suit. That's what I think. And yeah.
So one other question. Rumors were that they're going to drop a regular and a Pro at the same time. What are your thoughts on that, guys?
I think that's bullshit.
You think that crossing?
Yeah, I don't think they do that.
So you think essentially you're just going to release one?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely. There's no way that
they've never done like a worldwide launch with two SKUs. There's no way they would do that right now.
And then people will probably just buy the Pro, I would assume. I mean, well, I guess the price difference, if there was a $150 price difference, some people wouldn't care about the Pro so much.
Which makes me wonder, like, about the Lockhart rumors. You guys know what that? You guys
no,
heard about that?
No. It was the lower tier Xbox.
Yeah, it's like a lower tier Xbox Series X. I don't. That strategy confuses the shit out of me. I'll be honest with you, because if you're still going to keep like the One S and the One X like in the family and like not phase those out, like what are you doing with this lower console? Like I don't get it.
You know what I think actually? I know what I think the only possibility is if there is a lower tier Xbox Series X. I think the Lockhart is basically the poor man's Xbox One X. Basically, they're saying that they're going to continue the Xbox One X power tier or whatever at a discounted price. So they're almost saying, here's the Xbox One X thrown into...
But here's the thing is that like and this is just like, all the pre-rumors and info is that supposedly, so that the One X right now is 6 teraflops, right? No, not teraflops. I think teraflops. Okay, so
now,
like 6
are the
teraflops.
hardware specs out for both systems confirmed?
No.
For
But the
any
Lockhart,
system?
no, neither one of
Neither
them really.
one. Okay.
But what was I saying? So like the Lockhart is supposed to have like 4 teraflops of graphics, but it's got the updated CPU. So suddenly like they're trading off, like one's going to have a better CPU, one's going to have a better GPU. And it's like you're going to have those 2 things on the market. That's just weird.
And people are just not going to get it. It's going to make it too confusing, you know?
Yeah.
You know, the general public is just not going to have a clue, you know? And then what do you think about, games starting, you know, like launch titles for each system? I mean, I haven't really heard any. Have you guys heard anything for launch titles or?
Well,
Outside of Halo Infinite, not really.
there has not been a single fucking word about any software on the
So they've kept
PS5
this
end.
tight-lipped.
Well, no, they revealed that one game at the Game Awards.
Oh, for Xbox Series X, Hellblade 2?
No, for PS5. It's some I can't remember the name of it right now. But they definitely unveiled a PS5 game at the Game Awards. I just can't think of what the game was. But like that's it. But
Yeah.
obviously, you know, Last of Us 2 is going to come there.
So I guess we're just pretty much thinking that at this point, these things are gonna. So when do you think pre-orders would go live? Like September for November launch, or?
Oh no, after like E3 at the latest.
Godfall, it's called.
That's it, Godfall. Yeah, E3 at the latest. Because
So
that's
you're
when
thinking
they'll make
like
the big
July or
announcements.
August? So you think July or August they'll kick off pre-orders for?
I think it's like June, yeah.
For a November launch.
Mm-hmm. Well, maybe October, November, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'm just all right. What are your thoughts on that, Paul?
That they'll announce in June for the pre-orders and stuff?
Yeah. For when do you think pre-orders will go live? Rough estimate for and what launch?
I think that is accurate because if I remember correctly, it was only like a few months prior that I put in my pre-orders for Xbox One and PlayStation 4. I think I pre-ordered, honestly, I'm trying to think one or the other. I think PlayStation I got on Best Buy for some reason, and I think Xbox I got at GameStop. And I think the only reason why that happened was because I wanted that day one edition. But I'm just trying to think of like the time frame. I think that is accurate, to be honest with you. I think that's exactly like it's just I think everything is going to be a repeat, to summarize this, of the PlayStation 4 and Xbox launch. Like it's going to be so fucking stupid. Like they're going to be launched like a week apart from each other, just like Xbox One, PlayStation 4. Yeah, wasn't it was a week. One came out one Friday and then one came out the other. Like I remember getting them back to back, and I think was it PlayStation 4 that came out first and then Xbox?
I think so, yeah.
Now, was that the first systems to come out simultaneously? Because remembering correctly, I remember the PS3 came out about a year later than the actual 360. Correct me if I'm wrong.
That's correct.
And what about the PS2 versus the, what was, I don't know. I'm just
OG
trying to think.
Xbox.
Yeah, so,
I don't know about GameCube and PS2.
right, I'm just trying to
together.
think further back. You know, I don't even remember the systems. But is this the first launch where both systems came out within, let's say, 30 days of each other?
Well, PS4 and Xbox One, yeah, I think maybe.
I believe that Nintendo GameCube and Xbox, OG Xbox, came around the same time. So
yeah, I think that's right.
original Xbox launch date.
It was like October 2001.
No,
It's either October or November.
November
Well, that's
15th, 200001.
Yeah.
Because within 30 days of each other, that's kind of interesting, you know, like that the PS4 and Xbox One came out pretty much within 30 days of each other.
Yup, that was the last time I think it happened. GameCube came out November 18th, 2001, 3 days later. So
Got smashed.
And I think PS2 was October 26, 2000. Is that right? PlayStation 2.
Yeah, it was 2000 for sure.
Yep, October 26, 2000. Because that date is like engraved in my head because I got that at launch.
Yeah, and then that was just a game changer. And what Sony was so magnificent in that PS2 launch, I think it's still one of their best launches to date because just the hardware with the DVD. You got to remember that DVD player inside that PS2 revolutionized the DVD industry at that point. And adding it into your system was just such a genius move for Sony. They did the similar thing with the Blu-ray and the PS3, but just a genius move with the PS2, adding that DVD player. And I think that's one thing that the GameCube just failed miserably with those mini discs. The PS2 having that DVD player installed in the hardware, which is
yeah,
genius.
that was a bad move.
Yeah, it was just genius by Sony. And again, that sold 100 million units. And because again, that was my DVD player. I don't know about anyone else, and I'm sure I'm speaking for a lot of other people that. I mean, you were watching your movies on that thing. You were playing your video games on that thing. You were living on that thing.
Yep. I didn't have one at launch, but yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna kill the last two topics, but it's because this is actually getting interesting. I would say that I honestly think I'm still firm on what I said before. This is definitely gonna be a fucking rinse, wash, repeat of the PS4 and Xbox launches. I mean, I don't know what they were doing. I think there's going to be a lot of half-assed rushing towards the end, especially on Xbox's end, I think, because a lot of the software features of the original Xbox were fucking botched at the last second because they got destroyed. I think I think it's gonna be two sloppy launches because they're just rushing to compete with each other.
Now, do you think there's going to be hardware issues?
Man, that's a good one. I don't know.
Are there hardware issues, software issues?
I don't think so. My guess is that both of them come in super, super strong with the hardware.
Yeah.
And because, if you heard all the noise over this generation about PS4, it's like all about fan noise. And then for Xbox, it was all about like making sure they don't do a brick again, that type of shit. So,
yeah.
And obviously like power, not wanting to be like outpowered by Sony again. So I think like both of them are just going to, obviously they always try to bring their A game, but I don't know. I just feel like they're both going to come with some really, really well engineered systems.
I think from Microsoft, they got to really focus on software. You can have the most powerful system in the world if you don't have great games to go with it. I think they really need to get in gear. I don't know what their developing team but they really got to start pumping out some quality titles, exclusives. I think that's really where Sony kills them. Is that they just make great games. PlayStation 4 has had some terrific exclusives on it.
Yeah, but I think like hardware wise, as far as the launch go, it's going to be probably like the last one. Xbox One and PS4, like the launch hardware wasn't bad.
Yeah, I don't remember hearing any, because if you go back a previous generation, even the PS3 had the yellow light of whatever you want to call it, and then obviously the Xbox 360 was the red ring of death. So both of those generations has issues with the GPU overheating and giving you lights of death, whatever color they are.
Yeah, exactly. So I think like cooling, internal power, and like all that stuff is being prioritized along obviously with like all this other stuff. So I just don't see an issue like with the launch hardware anymore.
Right.
But who the fuck knows with like the delays happening with coronavirus and all that stuff now.
I was just about to bring that up, Dave. Good point.
It's crazy, man, that it could like actually impact. Like who knows? Like they're even saying the consoles could be like delayed.
Yeah, I was reading an article.
Can you imagine that?
Definitely a good point.
Dude, if the consoles are delayed, that would be honestly a hit from them I think a huge financial hit because
oh my goodness.
Yeah, because of they're probably banking on those sales to
Well, I can tell you right now, buy GameStop.
Oh yeah. Go get
Well, I'm sure Microsoft is even happy. I'm sure Microsoft is thrilled that they're just like, oh well, we can't launch the hardware, but we got Game Pass.
Right.
Oh my god,
That's
that'd be so
I
weird.
wonder if that's like their number one source of revenue now. Like, I wonder when that's going to happen.
Well, I think they will, and that's the other thing too, that
Well, you got to
for
remember,
years.
Microsoft dabbles in a lot of stuff, man. Their Office suite for business, they do a lot of business stuff that
Oh
you
God,
don't
yeah.
realize. Whether it's Excel,
Well,
PowerPoint,
the entire like
Outlook.
Xbox cloud platform is built off of Azure, which is like cloud computing for businesses.
Right, exactly. So
You know.
this gaming thing is just another part of their business.
Yep.
Yeah, maybe they are pretty ballsy. That's the other thing we didn't even touch on. They're saying they don't even. They're saying like people are making fun of them, but they don't even give a fuck about Sony and Nintendo because they're saying they own they own all that fucking infrastructure, all the cloud computing. They're the kings of that kind of shit to the point where they could just have a service and maybe their end goal is just to have a platform that just
Well, I mean,
runs
if you think
streaming.
about it, like if you're thinking about it from like the perspective of the guys that are running Xbox, like we're always thinking about like our shit, like PS4 and the kind of games that we're used to playing it on PS4 and consoles, but
Mhm.
they're thinking about parts of the world where people don't buy consoles, period. They don't have the money for it. They don't, whatever. They don't have the infrastructure for it, but they have phones or they have some other device that they like can tap
or
into
or a laptop or
or a
something.
laptop or something like that. And then if you can tap into like, the Xbox infrastructure and play those games, those are the people that they're thinking about and going after right now, because 10 years from now, that's going to be the big emerging market. You know what I'm saying? Or 20 years, who the fuck knows? But we are what we are,
Yeah.
over here in like the States and Japan and all that stuff. But it's all the other places that we haven't even like seen from our perspective that they're targeting. They're saying like, well, there's like 1 billion people in this part of the world. If we can get on their phones, done.
Yeah. I think
And that's like,
Microsoft is
that would
just focused on
crush.
so much other shit.
Yeah.
And
Like
again,
they're focused.
I'm not
Yeah.
an expert, but just I feel like this whole gaming thing is just like they're focused on so much other shit they don't really give a shit. Not
No,
the
I
way
think they
people
do give
do,
a
though.
shit. I
Well,
think
they do, but not the way not the way they should, I guess.
I don't know, man. It's gonna be very interesting this console launch with the death with physical media on its deathbed, and I don't know, console gaming, most of the sales being digital, and like streaming hit, and like VR basically flopping. Like I don't even know what the fuck is gonna happen. Actually, I think that's what they're preparing for. They're putting these consoles on the market so that they can be adaptive to whatever is actually sticking. They're just gonna fucking throw some shit on the wall and just watch
And
what's
hope it sticks.
exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly what this is. They have no fucking clue either because the fucking common consumer is here's the reality of what's right now. You're right. Game Pass is what they're making money on. People want the Netflix of gaming. People are buying digital. Uh, and the other thing is that people are buying into like this fucking like upgrade structure where a phone is, a phone is out of date in 2 years. A console gets a mini upgrade every 2 years. It happened. Fucking PS4,
Yeah.
PS4 Pro came out, and then the following year Xbox One X came out. That's pretty crazy to even think about.
Yeah. And they both sold well, I think.
Yeah, they did pretty well. Switch, their Nintendo's full shit. Switch Pro, whatever the fuck it is gonna come out. Hell, Nintendo Switch is gonna die probably 2 years from now.
And I was thinking that same thing. I people are like, oh, the Switch is gonna hit 100 million. It's gonna. I think once these two new systems come out, the Switch is gonna be an afterthought. I mean, I'm not gonna say it's gonna die, but I'm gonna say that it's probably gonna peak around 60, 65 million. I think it's at 50 right now. Correct me if I'm wrong. Roughly 50, 55. So let's say it sells another 10, 15 on the safe side. So you're talking 70 at max, but I think
Well,
once
as
these
soon
two
as people
systems
see,
launch,
they're like, oh, well, the Switch, that was really cool that we could get it to run Doom, Skyrim, and Witcher 3. But then, like, that's like the ceiling. And then all of a sudden this new system comes out. people are going to be like,
And right, and
you know,
even
it's
running
good for
Witcher
Nintendo.
3
It's
and
going to be
Doom,
like
it's
a
not
good old
running it.
Nintendo system where it's good for first party stuff, but then everything else is like, eh. And
Right,
they're not even going to get the ports because it's a completely different paradigm of hardware.
and going into that, Dave, not just that it's running Doom 3, but it's running it like shit. You know, you're not getting the full, you know, it's running Witcher, but it's watered down, you know. So, you know,
Yeah.
if you want to play and, you know, people obviously want to play it on PC probably, but, you know, I hear that. But at the same time, you want to play an inferior version of a game. I mean, I don't know about anyone else. I like to play you know, the best version of it.
It'll Switch's market will just mold. Know what'll happen? Switch will not die. Switch will just mold into just the portable. It'll just basically be looked at as the portable from 2020 to
It'll be the new
2022.
3DS essentially.
Pretty
Like they'll
much.
still have like a 3D budget game or whatever, but it's not going to be like
A lot of
top-tier
indie
shit.
games.
And then Nintendo's first party IPs will make it basically Switch will be on life support, but the life support will be their first party games. Like people they'll launch a new fucking Pokemon game and it'll fucking sell systems just because someone wants to play the new Pokemon game. You know what I mean?
No question.
That's what they're gonna bank on in the final 2 years of the Switch before they come out with whatever their next console is. And you know what? That's another thing to comment on too, which is kind of crazy to think about. Nintendo doesn't have to do shit their next console launch. All they're fucking gonna do is launch Switch 2. It's gonna be the same fucking thing with just better graphics, and it'll be a new system. It won't be like, you know, Switch with better graphics. It'll basically be like, you know, like Wii U was. It's a new system. You know what I'm saying? Even though it's
a
called
little better hardware.
yeah, even though it's called Switch Duo. There you go. There's the name.
Switch
I
to
swear to fucking God, I'm gonna put my money on it. It's gonna be called Switch Duo or something like that. And it'll be Switch Duo will just be the same fucking thing with better graphics and maybe a better screen, and it'll be a totally different system. You know, there won't be and it'll be backwards compatible. It'll use the same cards. There you go.
right. All right, Paul said it, so we'll remember it.
All right. All right. Well, on that note, all this
The
triggers
internet
me.
will remember it forever, Mark.
Everything triggers me. You guys trigger me. You're both pieces of trash. Everyone who listens to this is trash, and the world is trash. Good night.
Later, guys.
Garbage.